Welcome back. Helping the people who helped our military in Iraq and Afghanistan.
We've dug into this issue and told you what our allies did to help U.S. forces, and we outlined the problems with the program designed to protect those allies. Tonight in The Price of Freedom, Josh Rowe has the latest on what's being done in Washington.
The Senate passed the National Defense Authorization Act last Thursday. That legislation provides the funding for military programs. This bill also addresses the Special Immigrant Visa program. It's an issue we've been telling you about over the last few weeks. We sat down with Congressman Chuck Fleischmann. He explains what the bill does and how Congress came together for this bipartisan legislation. When our service members have to go to dangerous combat zones and faraway places, many times good local interpreters keep them alive. Last week, Congress passed new legislation to continue to help the people who help our military.
And it just shows that Republicans and Democrats and the administration can get together and say, look, we want to thank people who have helped this country, put their lives at risk, put their families at risk, but we've got to do it in a reasonable manner that's fair to all involved and that makes sense. And I think we've restored that.
This is the latest attempt to help our Iraqi and Afghan allies. In 2008, legislation was passed to grant special immigrant visas to those who helped. It called for 25,000 visas to be granted to Iraqis. Another piece of legislation was drafted later to help interpreters in Afghanistan. But since then, a low percentage of those visas were granted. Another issue with the previous law, many times it took years for the process to play out. The goal of the new bill is to improve that process.
I think under the current legislation, there's a 9-month cap, which is clearly expediting the process. But in addition to the cap, I think the review process, that someone can actually have a lawyer, go through a swift review, have proper appeals.
The law drastically cuts the number of visas available. It goes from 5,000 per year to 435.
I think probably the lower amount would be something that they want to test this out and see if this procedure is working, perhaps before going forward with more.
And while immigration continues to be a hotly debated issue in Washington, Representative Fleischmann says this is a specific issue that needed to be addressed.
And I think it shows that when we have good ideas in the immigration realm to deal with this, it's more of a reward than an immigration issue to thank these people for helping our country, helping our men and women who serve there, and helping our intelligence needs in these communities.
Congressman Fleischmann also makes it clear the world is a dangerous place, and it's very important to thoroughly vet anyone who receives one of these visas. Josh Rowe, News Channel 9.